Hi, it's George of Fun with Flies. Today we're going to be tying a copper john. Okay, so I've got like a number 2 nymphing hook works pretty good. I got some steel wire, some copper wire, some black thread, metal bead. I'm going to be using a little piece of Swiss straw. Got some ostrich. I've got some brown biot, some brown goose biots, some brown feathers, brown hackle feathers, and I think that's it. Okay, so what you want to do to start with is we're going to start right with the metal wire. So we come right about, make sure we get this tied in here nice and tight. Okay, so I'm going to start wrapping this wire around nice and tight. Nice and tight, right all the way through. Sometimes it works great to just grab you've got some pliers to really pull it tight. Or here I'm just using a clamp. Getting it right to that bead. And I want to push that in so it's going to hold that bead in place. We're going to tie that into, and we'll dam it up with a little material in a minute. Okay, and I'm going to go only going to go on about halfway down the hook. So right to about there. Always make sure use your dull end of or you don't never use the tips. Wear your scissors out real fast cutting this stuff. Kill your points. Okay, I'm going to use my clamp here. I'm going to push that little piece of metal down. Make sure it's not sticking up anywhere. Tie it in there nice and tight. And the same thing here. We're not going to see this, but we still want to make sure it's in there nice and tight. Okay. And once you got that tied down tight, you don't want it sticking up, making any bumps in there. Catch that thread. There we go. Okay, next thing we're going to do is tie in some black thread. Okay, and what I want to do is kind of dam it up a little bit behind the metal. And we're going to get that all the way back to the bend. Okay, I'm going to tie it off right there. So the next thing we want to do is I'm going to pick out 2 nice brown biots. So I want to flip it through until I can find 2 good ones. Right here, so I kind of pinch it a little bit. Okay. Now usually what I like to do with these guys is wet it, I'll roll it, put it in my mouth a little, just to moisten them up a little bit. Take him out, lay him right there. See where the other one went. Right. Okay. Okay, you'll notice the natural bend. So what we want to do is we want to get these so the bends are going reversed. And we should be looking at something like that. Make sure they're as even as you can get them. and then pinch them on so you're getting them even. You're going to pinch them toward the back so this flaps open. Once that flaps open, you're going to put it on each side of the hook. You're going to do a real loose wrap to keep this on the sides of the hook. Okay, before you wrap it too far, make sure it's good. So something like this. Pinch those down. And always remember, we're going for a nice carrot-shaped body. So the next thing we want to do is tie in a piece of wire. Now the piece of wire I'm going to stretch right to here. What I want to do is bring the wire right to here to kind of even it out. So I'm going to take a nice piece of copper wire. This one, make sure you do it a little bit longer than you normally would, because the spine we're making, it all connects all the way through. So we're wrapping it real tight right next to each other all the way. So you don't want to run out of wire. So what I like to do is give it like 3 or 4 wraps. And I'm going to pull it down right to where I want it. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to right where I want it, right there. And I'm going to wrap it up to the body. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this thread all the way over here so it's out of the way. We're going to take this and we're going to wrap it nice and tight. Unlike normal ribbing where we do the little space in there, this we want it to get nice and tight. And sometimes when you're wrapping, you'll catch up to the thread because it unwinds itself as it's going. Make sure you keep it nice and even. All right, when I get about halfway, we go past the thread. Okay, and I usually like to just give it one extra wrap. Put it crossing over and tying it in. Okay, so now we've got the copper body. Again, we want to make sure it's pulled down nice and tight. Okay, it's wrapped in nice. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to tie in. Next thing I'm going to tie in is the ostrich feather, and I'm going to tie in a piece of Swiss straw. So what I'm going to do with the Swiss straw is I've already pulled a piece off, cut a piece off the Swiss straw right here. I'm opening it all the way because I don't need the whole thing. Maybe here, pinching it back. Nice straight cut, and what I want to do is lay this over top and tie it right in all the way. And I'm going to go back, and I want to make sure I'm going all the way back to where the copper ends. There we go. So right about there. Now the next thing I want to do is take a couple pieces of ostrich feather. Take 3 or 4. It's not too many, but think 3 usually does a good job. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling them together, holding them, holding the feather, clipping 3 at the same time. I'm not letting go. Okay. I'm taking this here. I want to make sure that these are nice and even. I'm going to snip off an end. I'm coming here, so I want the tips to tie in. So on this one right here, we're just going to put this right here. Same thing as before. I want it to be nice and even on the body. So I'm going to grab those right there. Okay, we're going to take this. Now the thing, always remember with ostrich feather, it's very brittle. So you don't want to tie it too much in. Or you don't want to, it's not that you don't want to tie it too much in. You don't want to dampen this up a little bit, keep this bead from moving. Okay, so what you want to do with these guys is I'm going to use my hackle pliers, but I'm going to twist them. And I'm going to twist them together. If you'll notice, it kind of makes almost like a little bottle cleaner. I love working with ostrich feather. Whether you're making a body, whether you're using it in the abdomen, or whether you're using it in the thorax. It's just, now with this I'm doing it nice and slow, not overlapping, just taking my time. Give them a nice easy wrap all the way to the bead. And what you want to do is go in on the bead again, right tight to the bead as I'm pulling this over so I can tie it in. Give it a few wraps. Usually if you want, you just pull it right off. I always cut. Okay. So we're in good shape. We're almost there. So what we have here now is we have this tied in. You have Swiss straw waiting. And this next thing we want to do is pick out a nice feather. So I'm going to come down here and pick out a nice one. Alright, so from this feather here, pull off that dubbing, go about 3/4 of the way up the feather, just trim it off. Take a look at this feather. I want to make sure it's nice and even. Take a look at it, and yeah, I kind of like this. Let's take a little more up, go about halfway. You don't want it too long. So we're going to come up to about here. Now, you want to make sure you're doing this nice and even, so you want the same amount on each side. Be real careful so you don't pull them off. So right here, I want to take this top part, I'm going to pull this back. So I'm holding it like that. Okay, almost like you're doing a wally wing, except we're going to snip that off. Okay, I'm going to take this thread back. Right. To these back, for maybe the first 2 or 3 strands. I'm going to lay it over top, and I'm going to tie it in. Okay, then the next ones I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these back like this. Pull forward, grab them. I want to tie it in, and then pull it back and tie it in. Okay, so that makes the strands on there. So what we're going to do is separate these, making sure you're right in the middle. And then we're going to let the Swiss straw separate them all nice. So we're going to pull these guys back. Okay, pull that straw down nice and tight. I don't want really any in the front. Takes a little finagling, but you'll get it. Does a good job of spacing the fibers. There. So grabbing right behind the bead, tied up. Okay, now you don't have to, don't tie it down real tight yet, so you can trim this back. And you want to catch that and pull it in underneath the bead. So sometimes what I might have to do is that little gap back there. I'm using this to poke it, push that Swiss straw in. And it grabs it right there. Easy enough. Okay, so we're getting them on here. So again, I'm damming this up a little bit, but I'm ready to tie it off. Okay, so he's tied off. Alright, so once he's tied off, okay, so we've got the legs off to the side, got our nice biot tail. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some resin. So what I want to do is fill in that gap behind the bead and a little bit on the Swiss straw.
Hello, this is Charlie Cricket again with Fun with Flies. I wanted to remind you, if you get a chance, to visit the Fun with Flies website. We're updating it every day with new patterns and all kinds of new ideas for you to tie, including some training. We're going to be adding some PDFs so you can cut out some patterns and some material lists. And while you're at it, if you enjoy this video and you want to see some more of them and see them right when they come out, which we're sending out maybe one a week, go ahead and choose subscribe and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, have a good day and enjoy. Send you back to George, funwithflies.com. Bye-bye.
Okay, so the last thing I want to do, I want to pull these up. And just dress them up a little bit. But there you have it, the Copper John. Key things to remember on this one is keep the metal bead in the front clean. Want to avoid having to tie it off. You've got your Swiss straw with a little resin on there, and your copper with nice wraps, and then you've got your biot tail. So let's take it off of here and the Copper John. Okay? Thank you for watching, and hope to see you on the next video. Have a good day.